Welcome to Fishing Squad. Well, we're down on a more familiar mark. We're spinning again. Last opportunity to get a mackerel in April for me, so I won't be fishing now till May. Well, I won't be sea fishing till May. We'll see how we get on this morning. We're going to tackle two rods up like we did yesterday. I don't know how much that video, the intro to it on the last video was pretty poor because of the wind. I've had to cut it. If you've watched it, you'll understand why. So we're back on it this morning, but basically the setup yesterday were two rods. It's a spinning rod that has the capacity to cast up to 80 grams, and a spinning rod. This one's marketplace one. This one's a Temu one. That one can cast 150, it reckons. The marketplace one can cast 80. So we're going to put the feathers on the lighter one because it's a bit longer and it'll allow us to flick out a bit further. And we're going to put the jig on the shorter one. It's a bit slightly stronger. I don't think it casts 5 ounce. I think they've overgunned it there, but it's a really nice rod for Temu. It's I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a Su Liang, one of them. It's almost translucent. It's got a metal spigot. Listen, you get what you pay for, don't you? But we're not deep water wreck fishing, are we? So we have to Pollack up to, well, any size really, whatever's there. But a nice 4 or 5 pound one would be beautiful this morning. It really would. Obviously we're after a mackerel as well. But we're finding the jigs, Temu jigs. I got them working yesterday, and I'm nearly knocked it on the head this morning. Truthfully, I should have been out a couple of hours sooner. I'm glad I am. Glad I didn't, to be honest. But yeah, it's a lovely morning. They did forecast rain, 90% chance of rain, and we haven't had it. But when I did get up at 6 o'clock originally, I could hear a few spots on we've got like a glass panel in the roof. I could hear a few spots of rain on that, and I thought, ooh, heck. After the other morning when I come out with all the gear, no idea, when I had the cuckoo gas, I was like, I ain't putting up with that. And to be honest with you, it's the other morning's proper shattered me. That's why we're lure fishing. Trouble is around here, unless you've got a dryer, which we haven't, even when it's sunny, you struggle to dry anything. So you go fishing and you get absolutely soaked when it's raining. Even with a waterproof on, like my IMAX jacket's still got a bit of wet spots, like on the cuffs and on the collar and that. So it's really hard to dry stuff here, even when it's sunny. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Anyway, I'll tackle the rods up. I'll move you down to the seaward edge of the sea. We're fishing on my flat rock today, where I caught my first sea fish when I was 4 years old. I think I'm 4 years old. I'm 4 or 5 years old. Either 89 or 90, I can't remember, for obvious reasons. Summer 90, I think it might have been. We're Pollack on a float, so I think we're just sort of, at the minute, as far as the channel goes, certainly for the last couple of sessions, we're just trying to find something, or letting something find us, if you like. I mean, I do definitely want to get back into fresh water a bit, and some of that will be with lure fishing. So if I can just get a couple of setups fired up with plenty of lures, I can do a bit of perch and pike fishing on lures when the river season opens, or we can go on the canal for the perch, or whatever. Just giving us some options for when we're not here. So we'll get this set up, we'll move down to the sea like I was just saying, and we'll crack on. So we've still got targets this month. One of them's a bass. Now I was going to be bass fishing last night on the beach, but I couldn't get any worms because the sea didn't retreat far enough yesterday morning when I went out digging and before I went lure fishing. So that's another story. But we could get one on the lure this morning. So we'll have a go. We'll get these rods tackled up. We'll show you how we're fishing when we get down to the seaward side. And I've tackled up everything and moved everything down. So we're back on in a sec, basically, obviously. This is the rock we're fishing off today. Nice and flat, plenty of barnacles for grip, deep water. Can only give it a go. Lovely clear, clean water. Look how clear it is, you can just about see. Nice one, let's have a go. First setup is I think it's a 9-foot spinning rod. Just a few feathers with 2 or 3 ounce lead on, I think that is. That'll be what we'll just start with. And the second one, that's 80 gram. It's about 2.5 ounce, I think, ish. Then we've got 150 gram, about 5 ounces, with 60 gram jig. That did us a couple of fish that yesterday. Well, it did us one, technically it did us one fish, but we lost 2 on it. So we're just going to have a couple of casts out with the feathers, basically. The fly out off this reel. Got 15 pound. Got a Temu reel, a different one took out on yesterday. It's a DC 7000. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. 15 pound Daiwa tournament line. And on that one, the heaviest setup with the jig on, we've got 50 pound cheap Temu braid. But that'll enable us, if we get snagged, to pull the trebles out, bend them out and get the jig back, which is quite useful. Don't need to be doing any power casting. We're just here to enjoy the morning. I have a feeling we won't be waiting long for fish. The water clarity is super clear, straight into deep water. It's usually pretty good for Pollack off this mark. I do have quite a lot of success for mackerel, obviously, later in the year. April onwards. May onwards, sorry. Historically for myself. Well, that could change today. We will see. Right, we're in straight away. This is the mackerel. I'm going to kiss the camera. Got a decent kick to it. Not a bad start, is it? A couple of Pollacks straight away on the first cast. You can see them. Nice couple of fish then. So what we do is now, to unhook them, the easiest thing to do is to just drop them into the rock pool, let some line out. We'll get some decent ones, we may keep 1 or 2, but these aren't anything too special. One of them would probably just be good enough for one person's meal. First cast, Philip the Pollack, get on. And when you put them back, I think it's something that Fish Locker mentioned. If you've got some white water, or any water really, but if there's some white, put them back head first. The oxygen goes straight into the gills and they're away without any problem. But that is a superb start, basically. This might be a long video, this, if these fish keep showing how they've showed already. Beautiful, beautiful fish. They're absolutely stunning quality. They're just pristine. Getting put back. Yeah. Just get that air flowing back through the gills, isn't it? Not a problem. Well, that was a really good start. But I think using the jig, we'll have a few more casts with the feathers, obviously. What the plan is don't kiss a pollock. What the plan is 10 casts with the feathers, 10 casts with a jig. Intermittently. I think we've got a chance of mackerel this morning, I really do. What a start though. Blank beaten. I'm so glad I came out now. Very nearly knocked. So long drawbacks, like I said in my last video, why I'm not slapping. Generally you get fish. You know when you draw it back like that, you'll go to wind in and the line won't sink. And you can just detect that it's a fish. Let's pick your rig up or your lure and it's on. Just doing some big drops as well. Just went sea level this morning, basically the sea's literally 4 foot below me. You can jig it really close in because the kelp off this rock here, just had a bump then. The kelp off this rock isn't very, doesn't protrude out, so it's almost like, until you get 10 foot in, 10 foot off the rock face, it's almost like boat fishing. So that jig should work really well. So I'm going to knock the camera off, I'll have a few more casts and then we'll be back on, hopefully some more fish. Nice one. Good start that, guys. Jig this one, we'll bring him aboard. Second cast with a jig, he went bang. If he don't drop off, we'll bring him aboard, obviously. A touch bigger than the other two that were caught on the first cast. We had a couple more casts with the feathers and we'll just put the jig on. That's the second cast with the jig. And look at him, lovely pollock. Bit bigger, about a pound, maybe pushing a pound. I'd say £1.4 that if I had the scales. I haven't brought the scales down. We've got a measure, so if we do get something, it'll be being measured rather than that. Proper quality fish. Get in, put back. I think there's a bigger one with our name on it this morning. Yeah, so we've got the jig on now, like I say. We've definitely smashed this. I don't know if it's just the sensation of the braid or what, but we definitely smashed this with more gusto than to do the feathers. Not again. Bang. They love it. It's not a big one. Hopefully. I'm just worried because obviously we lost a couple yesterday. This one seems quite light. It seems to come up in the water a bit. It's another pollack. It's only a small one. What more do you want though, really, for a bit of sport? Oh. The treble's coming out of them fairly easy as well, which is good. Cracking stuff this. They're on it this morning. Not a big one, but still lovely. Just a quality fish, isn't it? Feels slightly bigger than the last one. This is next cast. Slightly far up to the edge. Another nice little fish, cracking quality. It's not actually gone into his eye, it's just round his eye, so we're just careful. We'll be able to get the hooks out, I think. No bother. Yeah, that's not put a blemish on him hardly. It's the only trouble in it. I think lesson to start with be maybe don't use trebles, but we'll see how that goes. So that's fish number 5, I think, or 6. Yes, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of a blemish just there where the trebles were. That's another. Just look at them. Definitive wavy line. They've got nice little speckles on them. Big googly eyes. A big massive gob. Yeah, they're just a beautiful little fish. Oops, just be careful you don't drop him. That happen, obviously. He'll be fine. He'll be absolutely sound though. Just get something for the snap. Put it your back, son. Yeah, they like that white water. Definitely. You know when you put them back in the white water, because it did. I think obviously if you get dropped a little bit, it's going to slightly stun you, but that happens. And we do want to promote good fish care on this channel, but sometimes things happen, don't they? We're not going to be bleat on about that. If you've come back float out safe, so far looking back in, get him in for his using for bait. But some channels just try and protect that type of thing, don't they? But that can happen. They're lively wild fish, aren't they? So yeah, we'll keep going anyway. Yeah, straight with fish. It's only a small one. It's a very small one, this one. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not the smallest one in the morning. Another one there. We'll get him up, get cast straight back out. Don't mess about with that one. If we get any decent ones now, we'll bring them to the camera, but I think we've won 5 or 6 fish now. We've filmed every single one. Basically, just casting it out, let it sink quite a bit. You've got braid on. If you lose your rig, you lose your rig. It's as simple as that, but you won't do. It's quite apparent that a bigger lure is making a difference. You know, in comparison to feathering, at the minute it is. But we will have a few more trucks of the feathers as well in a bit. And if this sport carries on the jig, it won't be very many more. So we're just giving it one of them. Sometimes coming down low and giving it one of them. Fairly aggressive. But they're not shy. At the minute this morning, they're not shy with taking it. Yesterday morning on that other mark, I felt, yeah, we're in again. I felt that this is a better fish, unless it's foul luck. The morning I felt that it was without knowing the mark. I don't feel like good actually now. Without knowing the mark, oh, it's swimming towards me, that's why. Without knowing the mark, it was difficult to assess what the crap was. It's only a small one. That hit like a train. That. The trouble is with using a treble hook, it's double hooked. He probably was side on. That's why I thought it was a better fish. But obviously, you want to be careful. Oh, the treble's just dropped out of him, and he's hooked on the jig hook. I'm guessing that's what you call the jig hook, is it? That little one on the back. Another nice fish. Back he goes. Yeah, so I'll not film every fish now. If we're getting a decent fish, I will put them on. Here's a few more off camera. I hope you're counting, guys, because I have no clue how many I've caught up to now in this video. There's a bit of a challenge at the end of this video, so if you could keep count for me, I'd like to know in the comments how many I've caught. Because I've got footage of every single one. These are just photographs of what I didn't film, if you like. Lovely Pollack. Since we're back on camera, I've had a fish a chuck on this jig. I've had one cast since I've been using it today. My hands had a fish. I've took pictures of every single fish I've caught, or I've videoed them as well. I think I must be on about 15 or something like that, maybe. I don't know. They're absolutely smashing it. Nothing of any size, nothing any bigger than what you've seen. I'm on again. Yeah, I'm on again. Straight away. It's another tickler one, though. I think. It's difficult to say. It's a small one. The jig can sometimes tangle up. It's just coming in a bit easy, that's all. Without much of a kick. It must be a fish because it's kiting to the right, yeah, isn't it? They're all sort of this size. Like we've said already, the quality of them's you little swat. I've got the put the top hook of the jig in my finger. That's payback, innit? Yeah, so that's another one there. Another nicely Mark 1, head first, straight back. You put the jig in my finger, the top jig hook in my finger, which is very nice to do. Got another one, change colour of the jig. I'm still getting them. Just approaching the end of the session really, but I put the feathers back on. So as you can see, there's two different motions you've got there. The method that I've always used for feathering, whether I use a spinning rod, beach cast or whatever, I usually use, with a beach caster, I use a 4-ounce lead. I use my 3-piece beach caster to be fair. If I'm looking to catch bait, like pollock, mackerel on an industrial level, you know, if I'm like, if you can call it an industrial level, for tote fishing or husk fishing. I mean, realistically, so this is the method, sorry. Just draw it back, wind the slack in. Draw it back, wind the slack in. I find this works better than just wind a straight retrieve. I think you're just letting your rig sink through the water column better, and it just seems to work miles better. People might know the science behind that, I don't know. So this is the method I use for mackerel feathering that works fantastically well. I've had loads of success. Lift and draw, I think it's. Is it called lift and drop or lift and draw? I don't know. So obviously you don't want, when you can, I'll just give you a bit more of a demonstration. When you're fishing rocky marks that aren't clean ground, obviously, out there it can range between 30 to 60 foot. So I just launch it out, and it does fly out with 15-pound mono on, and it's got a 2.5-ounce lead on this rod. Well, 2-ounce lead, or is it 3-ounce? I think it's a 3-ounce. Just let it sink a bit, but you don't obviously want to let it sink to the bottom because you'll lose your gear. What can happen if you let too much line out, if there's any tide run, it'll pull you down to whichever side the current's running and pull you straight into the snags. Sometimes it can be unfishable on here with the feathers if the current's hammering through too much. I haven't had anything else on the feathers other than them two that I caught on the very first cast we had, believe it or not. But I must have had 30 pollock, I'd say. I'm just guessing. Maybe 20. It's difficult to say, you know. I must have had 20 casts for that jig, at least. I'll get in a fisher chuck. I've had a fisher chuck on that jig every cast, bar 3. I changed colours of it as well. And that way, they were taking it on drop. So we're not getting anything on the feathers still. So I like to, obviously when you're just putting your rod to one side, I like to hook some rods have like a loop on them, on the butt section. This one doesn't. I like to hook it onto the side of the guide. Don't hook it onto the loop in the ring of the guide, so that can, it's highly unlikely to happen. But some people say it can damage your ceramics after a period of time. So I just like to put it to one side like that. So that's one of our options. The mackerel feathers, 15-pound mono setup. The other option is obviously we've been using this morning with a lot of success. It's a full Temu setup, reel, rod and jig, and it's working better than a semi-Temu setup if you like. So basically with this, it's a cast out, 60 gram. It's handy to have something a bit heavy off it, lure wise, unless it's absolutely black calm. The Dexter wedges do work off here as well. Like your Savage Gear Seeker lures will work, but we're just letting that sink. We're not really worried about it because it's a light lure. It's not like a 3-ounce lead, and we've got strong braid on, so we just let it sink, flick the bail arm over, or you can however you choose. I've just got a habit of flicking it over with my finger, and then you just lift. So you're jigging, and we're on straight away. It's only a small one, but that, if I'm just demonstrating what you need to do with the jigs, is a perfect example. The difference between the two methods. And why do I think that we're catching fish on the jig rather than the feathers? I'll tell you why in a minute. Just going to reel him in if we get him in. It's only a small one, but it's a fish. And that's what you come fishing for, isn't it? Inexpensive setup. Oops, he just drops off in a rock pool. Right, we'll just leave him in the rock pool for a minute. We're catching fish on this because it's significantly bigger than the feathers, and that's what they're looking for. You'll still get them on the feathers with a bit of persistence. But if you're getting a fish a chuck, every chuck, on one method, stick to it. We do want a bigger fish, but he's good enough, isn't he? If you're just coming down for a bit of sport. I'll show you my release. Obviously, it's quite hard to film and release, but because it's not too rough, we are going to just drop down. You get a lot of good grip on here on these barnacles. We're just going to give him a bit of a flick in. There we go, he's gone. I'm nearly getting wet. So it's as easy as that. I wouldn't recommend going down as close to the water as what I just did then. I nearly got one around my knees, but I was just trying to demonstrate. Just see me releasing, basically. For a bit of extra footage for you. So yeah, we've got a 90% record with the Temu jigs so far off this mark this morning, and that it's good enough, isn't it? Eh? People would cry out for sport like that, even off the boats they would. I'm just going to tilt you up a bit. Well, tilt you down. I think tide's just turned to come in. Yeah, so that gives you an example anyway. I've just cast it back out again. And people would cry out for a bit of sport like that, wouldn't they? It's not how good you are at fishing or anything like that, it's where you're fishing. You know, you've got some good marks, I believe on the west side of Scotland that are good for Pollack. North Wales is good for Pollack. Just find deep water, but if you're unsure on anything, call the tackle shops, have a chat with the tackle shop owners. They'll give you some marks, and then just work your way around from there. And you will find fish. You'll find bigger fish than what I've had this morning. And I'll get a bigger fish this year than what I've had this morning, a lot bigger. I'm aiming for at least a 5 to 10 pounder this year, because I'm going to put some time in. It's like anything, you put some time in, you'll get the fish. But I'm happy just catching fish as well. Oh, we had a cast there where we didn't get any. That's 5 casts. We're not just going to stay off here. The tide runs round this rock on this side, and it must create something that they're feeding, obviously, because that's why I'm catching it. It's a feature, isn't it? The knuckle of this rock as it points on this corner. So that's why we're getting them basically, I believe. We're not getting any now. I think we'll have one more cast after this one on camera, then we'll do the close down. We'll get back up, because I'm driving home today. We'll have one more cast, we'll do with the feathers. So it looks like we've got another cast to do without a Pollack. Usually get it really close in, but I've been getting them on the drop, even with this. The first cast I had with the red one, I cast it out and it would bang on the drop. But I think with this lure as well, tangled up, that's what maybe why we didn't catch on that. With this lure as well, you have got a feather kind of on the top of it. I don't know if you can see that. So you could potentially hook 2 fish. Let's have just one more cast with this on camera. So as I say, it did tangle around the brain. And they don't have it. If you do get hit by anything with any lure, keep winding. You don't need to wind fast, but just keep the lure moving. Because if you stop, they lose interest. It spooks them basically. I'm no expert with the lures, by the way, but this is what works on here for Pollack. Yeah, I think the tide's definitely turned. So, it's nearly time to go. We'll keep the camera rolling. It's a blanker again on this one. So we'll say we've had an 85% rate. How did he drop off either? Haven't dropped any basically, other than the one you've seen me drop on camera that fell into the rock wall. Right, so up the lure onto the ring, sit that to one side, straight back out with the other setup, unup the lure off the rod, the hook off the eye, straight back out with the lure setup. Now, it might, then Pollack have moved on, it might give a chance to like a mackerel maybe. Well, I think we're only going to have one cast, then we're going to get off because it's a bit of rain in the air now and I've got to drive home today, like I say. So we'll keep the camera rolling for this bit. Long drawbacks. Wind that second thread back down to the sea. So you point it out to sea. Do a long drawback, and then you're going back with the rod as you wind the line in. Winding that slack in. Long drawback. Wind the slack in. Pull the rig the other way. Long drawback. Wind the slack in. Lift. When you get close in, lift and drop. Slowly, not like you're doing with a jig. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. The amount of times I've had Pollack just smash into it when you do this. Especially when you're close in, just lifting and dropping. I'm shooting out the couch sometimes, if they're close in. Right, one more cast, last cast. We had first cast fish with this setup. Can we have last cast fish? Shoots out with this little rod, you know. But like I'm saying, I fish with beach casts usually when I'm just fishing for mackerel for bait or pollock for bait. Purely because if you get adverse weather conditions or anything like that down here, they're far more robust than a little spinning rod. These setups want to be used when it's flat calm, ideally. Because if you have to fish higher up, it's going to be hard with a 9-foot rod to get your fish out. You know, if there's a swell, you need a rod that's longer to punch above the swell when you've got your fishing close. You probably haven't got the strength. You know, if you get like 4 mackerel on or 4 or 5 mackerel or 4 or 5 decent pollock, you can see there when I draw it back. It's bending double, isn't it, almost? But that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I think they've gone off the feed, guys. Should we have one more cast with the jig? We'll do one more cast with the jig on camera. Let's get this in. Definitely knocked off. See I'm after a last cast fish, that's all. Yeah, also hooking onto your rod just keeps the hooks out the way of people, or if you're fishing a busy place, there might be some dogs or something, so if you do that, it's just a bit responsible in it as well, I suppose, from a safety point of view. If you're on a harbour wall or something, feathering. Plus, if you want to carry your rod, you need to carry your rod up the rocks. It stops everything swinging about, doesn't it, and tangling up or whatever. Yeah, we'll have one more cast with this jig. It's been really good fun this morning. It's been so easy and so straightforward. Not having to tie shock leader knots, use 300 mile of bait elastic. But it's a form of fishing, it's enjoyable, isn't it, still? Not chucking 8 ounce lead out. So we'll let it sink. I'm just going to back on it. We've got one. Hey. Trouble is you get one. I think if it's just another sizzler, we'll call it. They love these jigs though, boys and girls. Definitely. It's just another tiddler. we'll call it on that one. That'll be the last fish of the session. We could carry on all day catching these, maybe. They're not forced to stay here all day. They'll move around in the tide, won't they? But again, the hooks come out really easy as well, these Temu hooks. They haven't got very big barbs on, so they're quite gentle. Let's just get a bit better coverage of this one. It's a lovely little North Wales pollock. And to be fair, he'd be perfect for tote bait, wouldn't he? Bless him. You're going back, son, though. I sound like I'm some sort of executioner, don't I? We'll video him going back as well. Nice little. Cheers, pal, for the support this morning. Right, so the best way to return them, really. See all this white water on this corner here? I've got him in the right, and you want to hold him like that, and they go back straight away. Nice one. Get him. Right then, guys, let's pack it up. Whee! Fantastic bit of sport, that. Sec. So I think we bought a pack, 2 packs of 4 maybe of these lures. Jigs off Temu, 60-gram jigs. And they, as I thought they might do, have smashed it this morning. I think there's some bigger fish. I definitely lost a bigger fish yesterday in the previous lure fishing video that I did. But yeah, head up with that. Really happy. We'll get packed away now, and then we'll head back to Doncaster. I very nearly didn't come out this morning, and something just told me, Karl, you need to go fishing, you need to go fishing, you need to go fishing. And I've come out, and listen, weren't anything too spectacular. It don't give you quite the buzz you get when you catch a big fish off the bottom, but it gives you a buzz, it gives you that fix. So we're happy at that. I think, just wait there a sec. That's all been about damp atmosphere around here. There's a bit of sea mist in there. And it like made my lens on my camera just cloud over. Yeah, so what I like to do is when we're doing this, we travel light. So I have carry a bag with some lures in, basically. But I've got this as well. I got this off, you know, like mattress protectors that you get for your beds. It's one. They come in with this, and it's very good for just chucking everything in. So I chuck everything in there, lures, rigs, a lot. Then I have a little rucksack as well. I found a lure this morning as well down here. Another little, so it's a small jig that I think. 30 gram that. I thought it might be one of mine, but it's not. So yeah, been a really good session. Just packing it down. Have a look on Temu. I get on Temu if you want to catch Pollack. The thing about it is, on places like this, it destroys tackle. Those 2 good things really. Get yourself some cheap gear off Temu, and save yourself some money. So if you do lose out, it's not costing 7 or 8 quid a lure, is it? I mean, I haven't hooked anything big yet on the Temu. Oh, I did actually. I lost it, but that was due to my own fault. There was a big drop to the sea. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to call it at that. We've used 2 methods. Both have worked to a degree. The jig obviously worked better than the feathers. You could see that. You could see the difference, couldn't you? I think we've had 5 or 6 casts without a fish on the jig, and all the rest. We've had way more casts with the jig than with the feathers as well, because the jig just started working. I think it's all about visual as far as that goes, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? I wonder how many times I've been feathering down here just looking for fish for bait with the feathers and missing just an odd pollock here and there that we could use for bait. So that's been logged. You know, missing an odd pollock because they need to put a bigger lure on. So that's something we have learnt this morning. That occasionally, well, we probably do generally prefer bigger lures anyway, but something we've learned. It's been endorsed this morning. We've got a bit of rain in the air, as you can see. I don't know if you can see. But it hasn't come in as forecast, so we're going to, anyway, I'm going to stop babbling on. At least we've had a good session, got some fish, and I don't know what the plan is next. I might have to go for a carp somewhere. But like I say, we're going home today, so that's it basically. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. I've loved it. It hasn't quite given me it's given me a little bit of a fix, but it hasn't quite fully quenched my thirst to catch some more fish soon. So yeah, lovely morning down here, even though it's a bit damp now. But happy, happy, happy. So we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it. Keep safe, tight lines. Have a good one. I'll see you later. Right then, guys, if someone could just count how many pollock I caught, including the photographs that I've put in this video, I'd be very grateful, because I have no clue how many I caught this morning for this session. If you could let me know in the comments, I'd be very much appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.